Solana is kind of uniquely positioned in the industry to be non-sharded, no layer twos, a single giant global state machine. There's a lot of benefit to that, but a lot of challenges.
But like Bitcoin is completely frozen, so it cannot change. And I think Ethereum is going to change and will probably be fine. Like it's got a bunch of really smart people working on it.
U ovom videu osnivač Solane, Anatoli Jakovenko, priča o Solani, kako je sve počelo, budućnosti Solane, poređenju sa Bitcoinom i Ethereumom i još mnogo toga. Pogledaj ovaj video do kraja i nauči nešto novo o jednom od najboljih blockchainova danas. Pre nego što krenemo, kratak podsjetnik da možeš kupiti i trgovati Solanom, Bitcoinom, Ethereumom, XRP-om i više od 500 drugih kriptovaluta na KuCoinu, jednoj od najsigurnijih kriptomenjačica danas sa masovnom likvidnošću i bez prekida u radu. Prijavi se još danas koristeći naš referral link i dobit ćeš popust na trading fee, plus može zaraditi do $1.200 na osnovu tvog futures trading voljuma. Link i pravila možeš pronaći u opisu ovog videa.
I'm Anatoli Jakovenko. Pleasure to be here.
Tell us why Solana exists, what it does, like, how did you come up with it? Where does it fit within the spectrum of Bitcoin, Ethereum, the database on my computer, and what it's enabling today and will in the future?
Sure, the origin story. So in 2017, I had a side project. We were building GPU systems for deep learning, actually, just for fun with a buddy of mine. And we were using crypto mining to pay for the OpEx costs of deploying these GPUs. And I was trying to figure out, why are people paying me real money for this thing that does nothing? And, I was aware, of course, of crypto. Being an engineer in California, I think everybody was. And I had 2 coffees and a beer, Cafe Soleil in San Francisco. And that's not a combination that sits well with anyone. Didn't sit well with me. I was up till 4 a.m. and I had this eureka moment that there's a way to measure time instead of electricity in a permissionless, trustless, cryptographically robust way. Measuring electricity and kind of using that property is how proof of work secures itself or solves the Sybil problem. The Sybil problem is where everybody can fake their identity and create infinite number of votes or infinite number of posts and effectively spam the system. And there's a very brilliant paper for the Bitcoin white paper that describes proof of work and the Nakamoto consensus. It's very revolutionary. And I had this kind of huge idea that there's a way to measure another physical constant that you can't fake, time. And you can't use it to solve the Sybil problem, but I spent most of my career at Qualcomm as an engineer, and even though I wasn't working on protocols, kind of absorbed it through osmosis. And the first cellular protocol that people built was fundamentally using time, and it's called time division multiple access.
Solana is kind of uniquely positioned in the industry to be non-sharded, no layer twos, a single giant global state machine. There's a lot of benefit to that, but a lot of challenges. The really cool thing that a single giant global state machine provides is composability, and that is that every application that exists in one single environment is kind of like running on a single computer, a world computer. So if you were to let's say, if I wanted to trade like 20 cents of dollars for however many euros that is, you can actually trade it across 5 different companies at the same time to get the cheapest possible price. And it would take like 1 millisecond to do that trade, 1 second to settle it, and the cost would be like a fraction of a penny. And there's no way you can do that in the real world, right? There's no way you're going to go to like 5 different foreign exchange desks and tell them, I'm trading 20 cents, give me your best price. And that's because the real world doesn't have that property of composability, right? Everything is in separate buckets and separate domains. And this is what happens when you have layer 2s and sharding and these other technologies, is that they separate the environment so you can no longer combine them. So this is the big advantage of Solana, and this is something that we think is really, really important for the benefits that crypto provides around the world. Because once you eliminate that friction between companies, between marketplaces, finance becomes cheaper, faster, like everything's better. What's unique about Solana is that it doesn't have any layers, it doesn't do the separation, and it preserves this composability, which makes things cheaper and faster. And we have a meme called Only Possible on Solana. So like Helium using NFTs to mint, like compressed NFTs to mint 1 million NFTs to represent their hotspots and connect that with the payments and services of the data rates coming out of their 5G cells. All that is happening on the same blockchain as USDC transfers that can pay for Helium data plans. So like all this stuff is happening in one world computer without any friction. And this is a major benefit to this sharded environment with layer 2s. And you can see that in like just the technical specs of the network. Solana does more transactions per day from applications alone than Ethereum and all the layer 2s combined. So like, I think they still have a lot of work to do to catch up on the technology front, both on price, performance, and like really everything else.
The fact that people are arguing and that Ethereum itself responds to that argument and changes means that it's going to be fine.
Good, yeah.
So like it's a painful process, right? To like shift direction or shift, architecture and stuff like that. And it's hard to do that when you have a $250 billion or $300 billion asset. Like the bigger the asset, the harder it is to do it. But like Bitcoin is completely frozen, so it cannot change. And this is probably to me the riskier part, is being completely like what do they call it, ossified.
So you think Bitcoin is more at risk than Ethereum just by the mere fact that it can't really be changed?
Unless they got really lucky and just nailed the use case so perfectly, which is possible.